Good afternoon, everybody. It's Coach Jason Budd. Firstly, I wanted to apologize for not having a face-to-face parent meeting at this point. I do hope to get one of those scheduled here shortly. In the short term, I figured that sending out a quick video to everybody, introducing myself, explaining how and why I do things the way I do with the teams. Hopefully this provides a little bit of insight and this opens up the dialogue moving forward. So first thing for me is one of my favorite quotes about the game is soccer is the only sport in the world where intelligence needs to be on the field, not on the sideline. I don't know who said it, but I use it every year. Baseball, basketball plays can be called from the sideline. That's not the case in soccer. So for me, my goal is to help the kids make their decisions. I don't want to tell them what to do. Okay. I don't believe in what we call joystick coaching. Pretending I'm playing FIFA and I'm coaching them to do exactly what I want them to do. In other words, yelling every second of the game and telling them what to do. That's not going to make the kids smarter. That's not going to make the kids understand why they're doing things the way they are. For me, my goal is to teach the kids to see things on the field, understand why they're doing it, and give them options. And then after they've made decisions, help them make a better decision. It takes time. It's difficult to get through. And if you guys have had a coach in the past that has stood up on the sideline and yelled and screamed, or at training sessions or practices has been up and, telling little Billy to play here, and then Jimmy turns there and plays this direction, those kind of constant coaches, the first little bit of this might be difficult for you, okay? And I welcome you to open up conversations with me if you do have questions about it, but I'm not going to be that way, okay? My goal with that is to get the kids, okay, in situations and then teach them that situations, okay? It's difficult to do. I will show one example real quick of what I had done, a session I created last week. This was going from a shape that we wanted to put them in a situation, and we worked backwards to go from what the game would look like, 11v11, to a situation where we can work within the structure or the shape that we wanted to. Going backwards, we had the patterns. We had to walk through the patterns of how the more likely things that they would see within the situation. And then just to build comfort off of that, we put them in the same shape, okay, the same visuals, same angles they will see during their technical part of that session. So this is one example of how we try to do, we are teaching them to think. With the guided questions or the teaching them to be decision makers on the field, with that definitely comes some growing pains. Our team is currently going through these growing pains right now because this is probably the first time they have been experienced into making their own decisions. I just ask you guys as parents to please be patient with that. The kids are going to be much better off for this. The team is going to be much better off for this. And it's just takes a little bit of patience. We have started to talk to the players about some different terminology. I will be sending this terminology out to you guys, to the kids about the 4 pillars. Hopefully they've all heard that before me. Coaches, we develop players and we compare players based off of 4 pillars of the game: technical, tactical, physical, and psychological. Again, my opinion is that psychological is very underused by a lot of people, which is the area that I try to spend a lot of time in, that and tactical. We are also talking about team tactical principles. On the offensive side, so when we have the ball, we have said basically two principles. The first principle is create space. The second principle is make runs into space. When we don't have the ball, it's pretty simple. The opposite is take away space. The way that we have started with the taking away space aspect is, you will have noticed we have talked about getting numbers behind the ball. So if they have a throw in, for example, around midfield, we want everybody behind the ball so that they have no space forward. Okay, or what we're saying, don't allow them to play positive, give them space, allow them to play negative. The concept is get numbers behind the ball, force them to play short or force them to play negative, and then we can work on the next principles after that. But those are as far as we've gotten right now. Okay, for the team sessions or practices, we do ask that everybody be there. Again, most of the stuff we are doing is situational, putting kids in different environments that they have not been in, and then we are teaching them and challenging them to get out of those. It's going to be very difficult to do that if not everybody's at training. Also, it's going to be very difficult for individual players to catch up with what we are doing if they are not at our trainings. Okay, so heavily encourage everybody, please attend the training sessions so that way we can get the maximum out of my 3 hours with the kids a week. Lastly, for me, I don't anticipate this being a problem, and I sure hope it's not a problem, but I always try to be ahead of this a little bit. Obviously, games can get intense. Unfortunately, other teams' parents don't always behave as good as we would like. So, if possible, I always ask our parents to please sit on the half opposite from the bench. Okay, so if looking at the field, if I'm to the right of center circle and their bench is to the left, please sit opposite the kids. It makes it easier. It creates separation from the other parents just in case somebody's going to be out of control. It makes it a lot easier for me if the referees come over to coaches and I can say, nope, those are my parents over there. I can clearly see them. They're behaving. Along with that, it's not a requirement. If there's shade at a different spot, by all means. But any little bit we can. Along with that, I always ask parents, please don't talk to any other kid but your own. Whether that's on our team, the other team, the AR if it's a young kid. Just please, again, you don't want anybody talking to your kid. Again, it'll help us keep the sidelines calm so that way the kids can grow and the kids can play, okay? We want the excitement on the field, not on the sideline. Well, like I said, with the intelligence, I want the kids to feel the excitement on the field. I don't want them to feel pressure or anything coming from the sidelines, but from the parent side, because they should not be feeling that from me. Yeah. I hope this provides a little bit of insight in me. I have been doing this for a very long time. I know some of this might be a little different than you guys are used to, and I appreciate your patience.